Are you looking to build influence? Or maybe to drive more traffic? But bottom line, you want to change the game. You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Business Building Book Club. We're going to give you the tools you need to succeed, both online and in person. Brought to you by Coach Molly and Three Pines Leadership. Hey guys, welcome back to the Business Building Book Club. I'm your host, Coach Molly from Three Pines Leadership, and thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed last week's conversation. I know I absolutely love being able to chat with other business owners about how they're using these frameworks in their businesses and how this book has really helped them level up their influence, their authority, but ultimately their income online. I'm so excited. If you're new here, hi, welcome. This is season 2 of the book club, where we are diving into Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets, the Underground Playbook for converting your online visitors into lifelong fans, lifelong customers. I almost got it this time. This week, we are diving back into the book. We're going to be diving into secret number 9, the Epiphany Bridge script. Why don't we just dive right in? Remember, you can get your own copy of the second edition hardcover book. All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping. The rest of the book itself is going to be absolutely free. You can find the links down in the description box or in the show notes. All right, let's get going. The Epiphany Bridge script, secret number 9. If you're following along at home, we're starting on page 175. It's the question I had been asked almost daily since we launched ClickFunnels. And although I love funnels more than any other human on this earth, and I had spent countless hours trying to figure out a quick way to answer the question, I didn't have one. So, what is a funnel? A woman asked me. I smiled for a second, knowing that the only way I could get her to understand was to tell her a story. Do you mind if I tell you a quick story about how I found out about funnels? I think it'll be the best way for you to understand what they are. She agreed, and I started my Epiphany Bridge story about how I discovered funnels, my new opportunity. The backstory. Backstory or desire. When I was in college, I met my wife, Colette, and fell in love. I asked her to marry me, and although she said yes, I knew she was nervous because I didn't have a job or any prospect of a job. External. I was a student athlete wrestler. NCAA regulations wouldn't let me get a full-time job, so she was working 2 jobs to support us. I wanted to make money to help support my wife and myself on our new journey together. Internal. But what I really wanted was to figure out a way my wife could retire from her job and we could start our family. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom more than anything else in this world, and I wanted to give that gift to her soon. The old vehicle? I tried a lot of different things to make money online that didn't work. I tried selling things on eBay, and I set up websites to sell computer parts with no success. Everything I tried ended up costing me more money than I made. Each new experiment I tried got us deeper and deeper in debt. The journey and the conflict, the call. At about the time I saw some people who were selling how-to information products online, and it seemed like they were doing really well, so I decided to create my first how-to product. The problem was that I didn't have any unique skills that I thought people would pay for. The only thing I could think of that might work was that a few weeks earlier I had made a potato gun with a friend. I talked that friend into letting me film us making a potato gun, and I turned that into a DVD that I eventually started to sell online. The villain. The way I ended up selling the DVDs was by setting up a simple website and buying Google ads that promoted the DVD. I spent about $10 a day on ads and sold an average 1 DVD per day priced at $37. I was finally having success with my own business, but then Google decided to change the rules and increase the advertising cost dramatically, and soon I was spending more than $50 a day to sell a $37 DVD. What if? Almost overnight, my business stopped working. That meant that I either needed to quit wrestling and get a job, or my wife would have to continue working 2 jobs to support us. Both options seemed horrible, and I felt completely hopeless. The new opportunity. Guide. I ended up turning off Google Ads because we were losing so much money every day. About a week later, I got a call from someone I had met online who was doing a similar business to mine, selling how-to information online. His name was Mike Filsain, and I had assumed that because my business was now dead, that his was too. The Epiphany. I asked Mike how he was doing, and he told me that business was better than ever before. Confused, I asked him how, and then he gave me his big aha. He told me that he had added one step to his website that changed everything. He said it was similar to how McDonald's works. After you order your Big Mac, they ask if you would like fries and a Coke. After someone bought one of his products, he added an upsell page asking them if they wanted to buy one of his other products at a discount. He said that 1 out of every 3 people who bought his product ended up buying his upsell as well. Because of that, he was making more money from each customer, and he could now afford to keep paying Google for traffic. So I got excited. I quickly tried to find something that I could sell as an upsell after people bought my potato gun DVD. I found a company that sold potato gun kits, and I worked out a deal where I could sell the kits and they would ship them to the customer. I added that upsell, created my very first funnel, and just like Mike said, 1 out of every 3 people who bought my DVD ended up buying the potato gun kit. I made enough money to pay for the Google ads and keep a hefty profit. The new opportunity. I realized from that experience that the secret to success online wasn't what I was selling, but how I was selling it. This simple funnel was the secret to me selling a lot more potato gun products. The framework, strategy. I got so excited by the secret I had discovered that I wanted to see if it would work for other products. Soon I launched funnels selling weight loss products, dating advice, couponing classes, network marketing, iPhone apps, supplements for people with diabetic neuropathy, and more. I found that some of the funnels I created worked better for online businesses and others worked better for service-based businesses. I tested hundreds of different variations and started building different funnel frameworks for each type of business. I found frameworks that worked for generating leads, others for selling physical products, and others for services. Your results. Each market my company went into, if we created the funnel the right way, it would explode overnight. We created one funnel that generated more than 1.5 million leads in just 6 weeks. We've created funnels that have taken a brand new startup to 8 figures in sales in less than a year. We've also used some of our funnel frameworks to generate more than $2 million in sales for a charity that we believe in. Others' results. As exciting as it is, I've also shared these frameworks with thousands of other entrepreneurs. I've watched as Brandon and Kaylin Poulin have taken their Lady Boss startup from an idea to a business with funnels that help more than 1 million women with their weight loss journey. I've seen Dr. Anissa Holmes fill her dental practice with hundreds of new clients each month and help countless of other dentists do the same thing. Achievement and transformation. Achievement. After I learned about funnels, my wife was able to quit her job. The funnels my company has created generate more than 1,000 new leads per day and generate millions of dollars in sales each month. Transformation. But what was even cooler than that was that my wife was able to retire from her job. She was able to become a stay-at-home mom, and we now have 5 amazing kids. On top of that, we've watched as hundreds of other entrepreneurs have been able to free themselves and better serve their audiences because of the funnels they've used to launch their companies. Wow, I run a whatever company. Do you think a funnel would work for what I do? Is usually the response I get from most people after sharing my Epiphany Bridge story. Depending on who I am telling it to, I determine which submarkets I'll then share. If I were speaking to a dentist, I wouldn't share Kaylin Poulin's results, but I would tell Anissa Holmes' story. If I had 2 minutes to tell that story, I could, but if you gave me 2 hours, I could tell a lot more of the details. I could share more emotion. I could help you have stronger feelings about it. Regardless of how I tell the story, though, it always fits into the 5-step framework. The Epiphany Bridge 5-step framework. The Epiphany Bridge script is an adaptation of the hero's 2 journeys that I have been developing over the past 5 years. I use this for podcasts, Facebook Lives, ads, emails, sales videos, webinars, speaking engagements, and pretty much any time I tell a story, which is a few dozen times a day. After perfecting this script, I gave it to my inner circle members and have watched as they've used it to make hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. It's just 5 phrases and answers 14 questions that, depending on time, I can use to tell a story in 2 minutes or 2 hours. I can expand on each detail to fit the time allotted. I keep a picture of the framework for the Epiphany Bridge script on my desk, and I use it all the time when I'm telling my stories. You'll be telling a lot of stories too, so mastering this script will become one of the most important things that you will do as an expert. All you have to do is answer these 14 questions to tell your full story. I will go into more detail for each question later, but for now, let me show you how quickly it can work just answering these questions. Phase 1, the backstory. What is your backstory that gives us a vested interest in your journey? What is the desire or result that you want to achieve? What are your external desires and your internal desires? What are the old vehicles that you tried in the past that get the same result that didn't work for you? Phase 2, the journey. What was the call or the reason that made you start this journey? Who or what is the villain that kept you going, that kept you from having success? What will happen if you don't have success on your journey? Phase 3, the new opportunity. Who was the guide who gave you the epiphany? What was the epiphany you experienced? What was the new opportunity you created from this epiphany? Phase 4, the framework. What is the strategy or frameworks you developed to get you the desire you wanted to achieve? What were the results you got by following the frameworks? What were others' results from following your frameworks? Phase 5, achievement and transformation. What end result did you accomplish or achieve, like your external desires? And how did you transform during that journey, your internal desires? For many of you, this outline and these questions will be enough to give you the framework to tell any story. But I want to dig a little deeper into each of the questions so you have a clear understanding of how to answer those questions. The Epiphany Bridge script. Backstory. What is the backstory that gives us a vested interest in your journey? Most stories that start with the backstory. For an Epiphany Bridge, that means remembering where you were before you had your big aha. Go back to that time and place and remember the circumstances that caused you to start on your hero's journey. Usually this backstory starts at about the same point where your listener is in their life right now. They desire the same result that you have already achieved, but when they see you as the expert and see what you've accomplished, it can be hard for them to relate to you and to trust you. That's why you must come down from your positioning as an expert and return to the beginning, where you were struggling with the same things that they are. When they see that you were once where they are now, they will have faith that you can take them to where they want to go. Desire. Here is where you talk about what it is that you desire most. As you learned earlier, the desire is usually to win, retrieve, escape, or stop. External. The external struggle is what gives the journey of accomplishment, the hero's first journey. People are usually willing to share their external struggles, like, I'm trying to lose weight, or I want to start my own company and make money. Internal. The internal struggle is the journey of transformation from fear to courage. The hero's second journey, sometimes it's hard to share or even know what the actual internal struggles are. But if you're willing and able to get vulnerable and share your internal struggles, this will build rapport faster than anything else you can do. Why? Because your audience also shares the same internal struggles. Most people never talk about them, but when the audience hears you get vulnerable and expose what you are really struggling with, they will form an almost instant connection with you. When you get to the end of your story, typically you've solved the external struggles and accomplished what the hero has set out to do, but for your story to be truly impactful, the hero needs to have done more than just accomplish their goal. They need to have become someone different in the process. The old vehicle. The backstory builds rapport with the character, and then the listener to the moment of frustration that causes your hero to start on their journey. Chances are this wasn't the first time that you've tried to achieve this desired result. Tell them about the other vehicles you tried that didn't work for you. This wall is the frustration you built because of the current opportunity you have been using to try to accomplish your desires. This old opportunity is not working, and it's the reason you, as well as your listeners, are willing to go on a journey to try something new. The journey or conflict. The first 25% of any story is spent with the hero in the ordinary world. During that time, we get to know and care about them. We find out about their desires, what their desires are, and we learn what things they have tried in the past to get the results they desire. This next phase in the story is where they change their desire for something that they should do into something that they must do. Usually something happens that causes the hero to do something drastically different and leave where they were comfortable to start a journey into the unknown. The call. In your story, this is where something happens that causes you to go on the journey. It may have been a feeling or an impression you got, something you learned, or even an event you went to. Something happened that made you desire to try again and reach your desire, despite the failures that you had had in the past. Villain. As you start this journey, who or what are the things that are fighting against you? For your story, the villains are often false beliefs that are holding you back or belief systems that are hurting the market you are in. This is the person or ideas that you will be throwing stones at. What if? If you don't know what's at stake, it's hard to get excited about the outcome. If you don't have success this time, what does that mean? What is the worst case scenario if you don't achieve what you're searching for? The new opportunity. In this third phase of the story, the hero discovers the new opportunity. Your goal in this phase is to help your listeners feel how you felt when you experienced the epiphany for the first time. The guide. The guide can be the person, or it can be an inspiration from God. Sometimes for me, the epiphany comes directly from something someone said to me, and other times it's an idea that comes while I'm moving forward on my journey. Who is the guide who gave you this epiphany? The epiphany. What is the big aha that gave you the missing piece? The goal is to get your listeners to have the same aha that you had as you tell the story. The new opportunity. From this epiphany, what was the tangible thing that you were given or that you decided to create? This is where the opportunity switch takes place, that you can change from the old vehicles you used in the past to try to get your desired result in this new vehicle. The framework. Now that you've discovered the new opportunity, this is where you build and test your frameworks to see if the new opportunity is the one thing that is going to get you your desired result. Strategy. What is the plan that you put together to try to apply this new opportunity? What are the frameworks you've built based on what you've learned from your guide? Your results. What are the results that you got from applying these frameworks? You are the human guinea pig. Share this part of the story so we can understand how these frameworks could work for us as well. Others' results. After you got results for yourself, did these frameworks work for others? If so, please tell us the case studies and results that others have had with this new opportunity. Achievement and transformation. This is the last phase of the story. It's the payoff for the listener who has now gone on this journey with you. Achievement. When you started this journey, you set out to achieve a desired result. Share the aftermath of what happened so people can see the results that you got from the new opportunity. Transformation. Here you talk about who you became through the process. This is the resolution of your internal struggles, the death of the hero's identity, and the rebirth of your new belief systems. As you will see in the next secret, the goal of good stories is to break old belief patterns and rebuild them with new ones. When you create your stories this way, you're helping people break free from their old belief systems and create a new future. This is the script for writing an Epiphany Bridge story. We've covered a lot in here so you could understand the power behind each section of the Epiphany Bridge story. But remember that stories are simple by nature. You can make stories as complex by going deeper into the settings, emotions, and other characters, etc. But at the core, they follow a very simple progression. So this is the 30-second Epiphany Bridge script. There are many times when you won't have the convenience of spending 10 or 20 minutes telling a full Epiphany Bridge story. Other times, like the perfect webinar framework, you'll be telling one Epiphany Bridge story followed by a lot of smaller stories to quickly break any other false beliefs that weren't covered by the main story. When I do these faster versions of my story, I don't answer all 14 questions, but I do make sure to cover each of the 5 phases. For example, here is how I could tell my potato gun story if I only had 30 seconds. Backstory. I wanted to make money to support my wife. Journey. I started selling potato gun DVDs, but later got shut down by Google. New opportunity. Mike Filsaine told me about an upsell, and I discovered funnels. Framework. I built funnel frameworks to grow my companies. Achievement. I made a ton of money and my wife retired so she can have kids and be a stay-at-home mom. The majority of the time, your stories will cover only these 5 phases. When the time permits you to go into more detail, answering each of the questions under each phase. Now that you understand story structure and you've created your first Epiphany Bridge story, in the next section, we're going to dig deeper into the false beliefs people have about your new opportunity, and then look at the stories we need to create to break these false belief patterns. And with that, my friends, I'm going to close the book on this chapter of Expert Secrets. Remember, you can get your own copy absolutely free. Just cover the cost of shipping. The links are in the description. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for this episode. Next week, we'll be back with another conversation where we'll be talking to a digital entrepreneur about how they use these frameworks in their own business. So join me for that conversation next week. Until then, my friends, remember, I love you and be excellent to each other.